as sound money at all. There is no use for Ethereum as money at all, period. So if it's valued at utility value, it's worthless.
There's
Almost worthless.
absolutely a
Not quite
use
worthless.
for Ethereum
Almost
to
worthless.
be used as money. There is.
No,
Look at
you're completely
Bitcoin
wrong.
wrappers. Oh yeah, no, I'm not wrong.
You absolutely are wrong.
I mean,
Martha, can you explain?
Yes,
Can you
I
explain
can
your
explain.
thought process?
The use case for Bitcoin wrappers using the Ethereum network or Neo is for nefarious purposes. I'll say that.
Then
Okay?
it can never be money.
But
Well, that's
wrapped
not true. Money is
assets
already
on
used for that
Ethereum
all the time.
are not Ethereum. Like, that just goes back to if ETH is used as nothing but paying fees for other assets on the network, then Ethereum itself has like absolutely no value except that bare minimum demand just for people to have enough to pay fees.
I mean, imagine that a new type of bank came out, and you're an investor, and you decided you wanted to invest in this bank, and so your way that you thought would be the smartest way to invest was to prepay a bunch of your fees to use the bank services. Like that, you don't get anything for that. You don't get, like, more people use the bank, you don't get more money. The people that created the Ethereum Foundation, the ones that are doing the code, they got a bunch of Ethereum for free. And actually, the only product that they have to sell is the Ethereum that they got for free to you. And how they sell that is by paying for marketing and then selling you the Ethereum that they got for free. That is the product. The only product that Ethereum has to sell you is the Ethereum they made themselves for free to you. Once you get it, like, that's not their problem anymore. They've successfully gotten rid of the Ethereum for real money that they actually want.
I'll clarify. I have no problem with the Ethereum Foundation at all. I think Ethereum is rad and it has use cases.
And
However,
there's the problem.
It is very easy, in fact, frequent for Ethereum tokens to be stolen. You can name an Ethereum token the same name as any other token.
Yeah, you can also, like, my phone has a whole bunch of utility, can do way more than Ethereum, and I can make a token and name it Fold3, right? But that'd be stupid if you bought it. It doesn't matter what my phone can do.
There's like
Yeah,
that. There's like that
stupid. I get
inverse
that.
chart with humans where humans not only find solutions, but they also find flaws. And with the money, they're gonna find the flaws. They're gonna subject those flaws, and they're going to, capitalize on those flaws. And there's many, many, many flaws and holes in the Ethereum system. So that's what I see as the problem and why it could never be money is because of those flaws. When I look at Bitcoin, I have a mind where I'll look at a Ferrari and I'll be like, oh, look at the scratch on the rim right there. That sucks. It could be $1 million car, and I'd still find a scratch on it. I still, to this day, after being coming from precious metals, coming from the Peter Schiff crowd, to look at Bitcoin all skeptical and then go, I can't find a fucking flaw with this. I can't find one. That's crazy to me. So when I look at Ethereum, I go, oh, there's a flaw. Look, there's a leader. Oh, there's another flaw. You can't make it. The node is very hard to do at scale. Okay, here's another flaw, another flaw, another flaw. Just there's so many flaws with the Ethereum network that obviously it's going to be found, but people are going to, and they are capitalizing on those flaws.
Thank you. That was very well stated. Better than I said, and I totally agree. However,
sorry, you go.
I was going to say, Martha, I mean, forgive me if you guys, I'm not going to get into the specifics of, what it is, but like I went so far down the shitcoin rabbit hole that I almost created a shitcoin and had it in a pitch deck for investors. And I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck am I doing? And I realized that it's really unethical just from like a moral standpoint to create a shitcoin because, like, I mean, I think Crown, you said Ethereum had a 70% pre-mine. I was like, wait a minute, this could be built on top of Bitcoin as a second layer. So why would I do this? And then the only reason is to pump your own bags and dump on retail. And now where that gets difficult with somebody like Mark Cuban is he's looking at things from a product perspective. So like the thing that I would have pitched to him would have been a product, and he would have been like, yeah, I could see where, this is an application. We can throw it up there and get a lot of usage. and it's really not beneficial for him to put it in a decentralized world. And you know, I just had a really inspiring conversation about this product with Ben Ark, who, you know, is a FOSS hobbyist, and he was like, dude, yeah, we can totally build this. But the thing is, it's not going to benefit me from a product standpoint because it's going to be decentralized. It's going to be something that people are working on together, which will actually make it a better product. But it's not going to be something that Mark Cuban can wrap up and sell.
Luke, did you want to say something? Nice to see you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off before. That was terrible on my part. I've got a terrible lag. I was just going to jump in and say I was really waiting for Pomp to say his line that he come out and said recently on his podcast, talking about all of these 12,000 coins being able to just be shut down at the flick of a switch. I would love for somebody to bring up the fact that even if we live in this multi-chain universe and you see all these DeFi applications on top of Ethereum and Solana, it doesn't even matter if Ethereum can pull off its transition to ETH 2.0 and move on to a proof-of-stake system. If it gets big enough and if the governments can shut it down, they will shut it down. I would have loved Mark's thoughts
They
on
will
that.
definitely shut it down illegally. Definitely. You can quote me on that.
Well,
Exactly.
then how does it have any value at all then? Like,
It doesn't.
whatsoever?
Well,
Clap your hands and believe in it.
to steel man it, like Facebook and Google are compromised, and they're terrible for your mental health, and they're tools of surveillance capitalism. You're carrying around a surveillance device in your pocket everywhere you go. People don't really care about privacy if the product works. So there is an argument for VCs and banks and Wall Street and everything jumping behind something to prop it up because they know that, maybe not the VCs, but the banks and the central banks and the regulators and all that, if they're scared of Bitcoin, like Preston was saying, being this black hole that sucks all the $300 trillion bond market into it, and they can't stop it because of the massive amount of decentralization and nodes that are running, then they do have an incentive to back something else. So there is always the chance that, like, they could make this work against freedom, against like the good of humanity. They could just install USDC DeFi shit into the like Visa CryptoNet is building on Ethereum, unfortunately, but it is happening.
You can't. I mean, like, you can't actually do that because it doesn't scale even with ETH 2.0. Like, there doesn't. This is not a thing that, you know.
The product is probably going to suck. I'm just saying, to steel man the argument, so we're not just saying Ethereum has no value. Like, they could literally be,
but Brad,
game plan
that also wouldn't give value. You can like force people to see it, but that just accelerates.
Brad and Crown. You're both missing the reality that a more centralized, cheaper, easier to use thing will pop up, and that'll be easier to capture and take Ethereum's place simultaneously.
No, absolutely.
So
I mean,
the government will get something easier to fuck with while it kills.
It's called Neopets. No, I agree, and that's why I'm kind of like a little bit supportive of the multi-chain thesis over the Bitcoin versus Ethereum thesis, because at least in that world, you got all kinds of competition from like massive network effects from Binance back in BSC and FTX sponsoring UFC and all these baseball stadiums and all this shit, backing Solana and Serum and whatever else they're backing. And that all competes with Ethereum, so it weakens the network effects and the Lindy effects of Ethereum, because Bitcoin and Ethereum are competing. Everything is competing with Bitcoin, even though they are two separate things, and crypto is more about like kind of like a pseudo Wall Street stonk meme thing. They are competing with Bitcoin, and people like Mark Cuban are a massive network effect for shitcoins like Doge, and people like even Peter Thiel backs crypto stuff. So like, it does suck that this is the reality we live in, but I'd rather see, if we're going to choose between a world where like the banks
I'm really
have installed
confused by what you're saying, man. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Really
I'm saying
confused.
that I would rather see a world where what Brian Proles just said. I'd rather see that world where they all compete with each other and Ethereum does not win as the biggest Lindy effect for store of value over Bitcoin because all these other chains are sucking its value away and cannibalizing it. I'd rather see that world where Bitcoin succeeds and all this other stuff fights against each other than the world where Ethereum wins and Bitcoin and Ethereum are the two biggest things that are like fighting for each other.
Yeah,
It doesn't even.
I love to see a free market. A free market is an amazing thing. Like,
Yeah.
see, I'm a free market capitalist, and the free market will dictate what the free market dictates. You know, I don't ever want to be that person being like, oh, you have to do Bitcoin, and we're gonna be, you know, communists about it. You guys need to come over to Bitcoin, nothing else. We're a dictatorship over here. This is what it is. Like, I don't think that's a good narrative. The narrative
Use
is this
Bitcoin here, comrade.
I mean,
but it's like when you think about it, though, it's like
Rob is right,
Sign
but
up
the
for
thing
the
is, even
newsletter.
but
if
just to finish that thought though real quick, it's like the more money in crypto, if you use the words crypto, I would argue it's just crypto asset, not assets. There's just crypto asset, not even currency. But when you look at crypto as it is right now, I look at it as like it's rivers. I talked about this with Dennis in the past on his podcast. It's like I think about it as rivers and streams all crashing up in the mountains, and they're all volatile and bouncing around, but it's all going to end up in the ocean that just waits patiently underneath. All the people I hear in NFTs and Ethereum and all these different coins, they all store their profits in Bitcoin. Haven't you heard that narrative? I know there's people in here that are from Ethereum too. They all
do.
say that.
Everybody says, "Oh, I'm just trying to stack more sats." Even the ones that are deep, like fucking neck high in the shit coins. But you know, even if, and this is to because Rob is right, and this is to Brad's point, which I don't think your point really was a good one in this sense. Because even if, let's say, government did even force, let's say, government decreed Ethereum into some kind of traditional finance system, which let's ignore the fact that it doesn't scale well enough to do this. The kind of systems that are there, the Mirage Finance, what most people call DeFi, it doesn't, those systems don't work. There's not actually any value being produced there. I mean, you're just going to accelerate the collapse of one Ponzi after another. People eventually learn the difference between something valuable and something that doesn't have real value. I mean, just like penny stocks today. Penny stocks can pump, and they used to pump even more. And it used to be easier to, you know, tell your uncle, "Hey, there's some hot penny stock. It's going to pump. You know, look at the roadmap. It's doing it. It was just like shit coins." And now, if you tell your uncle that, he's going to tell you to fuck yourself. He's not going to buy that shit because everybody knows if you fuck with penny stocks, you're going to get burned because everybody knows it's trash. It's the same.
That's not true. Look at Reddit.
It is. I mean, sure. Okay. Are there examples of penny stocks that can go up? Yeah. So we're talking about real equity here versus the mirage of equity. So when it comes to crypto, you're just getting the Ponzi part of the market. You're not getting the actual underlying asset. They're literally creating, DeFi literally creates assets to give you as a reward. That's not how real finance works. They don't just make up stuff that's literally backed by nothing. People say Bitcoin's backed by nothing because they don't understand the 21 million and what it really is. But when we say, but their intuition was right. They're intuitively thinking about a digital asset. Now, when you have digital money and you think, you know, you want to buy some digital money, you say no. Intuitively, you know, like, who made this thing? They can just make more. Like, why would I want to buy somebody's digital money that didn't cost them anything, right?
Money is already digital. Look at where money comes from. It comes from debt.
This is not my point.
To your point about DeFi Crown, I mean, I always say if you don't know where the yield comes from, you're the yield. People don't understand that these quote unquote DeFi coins, they pre-mine 80% of the supply, and they use all of these fake incentives and fake use cases to get people to come and farm the Ponzi token on their platform. They put out these massive APYs. Oh, come farm our token and come use our loan platform for a month, and you get 800% APY yield. And obviously, the pre-mine dries up eventually, and people come to the realization that all of these things are backed by nothing, and the use case that they're even claiming to have is absolutely built on lies.
You're putting a lot of trust in people, but I do agree with you.
With Bitcoin, you're not putting trust in anything. You're verifying everything. I mean, that's the old saying, but it really is. You don't have to trust Vitalik. You know, like, I mean, I couldn't believe, like, and this kills me as a Pittsburgher watching Mark Cuban just fall apart. But him sitting there saying like, that's me betting on Vitalik figuring it out. Like, Jesus Christ, you're talking about like potentially, like changing the world financial system, and you're just betting on this one sort of smart guy.
Hey, he's got unicorn shirts, bro. You don't. That's obviously he's gonna figure this thing out.
And
So does Ethereum, the Unicorn Foundation.
yeah,
Just saying.
I mean, unless Mark Cuban's got some of that free Ethereum that Vitalik and his friends got, he's not actually betting on anything. You can buy all the Ethereum you want. You're not actually betting on
the
Vitalik
quantum
succeeding.
computing AI revolution is going to fix all of Ethereum's problems, dude. Like, dude, just trust me, bro.
Let's bring AI into this conversation, Bitcoin gentlemen.
AI does not exist. It is a meme. It is a joke. It is nothing but probabilistic like functions generated from processes we don't fully understand that just like come close to an answer most of the time in a way we don't understand that is not actually thinking. AI
what is your name,
does
sir?
What are you
exist.
talking about?
Yeah, what's your name?
I'm talking about deep learning and the actual deep learning algorithms that come out of being trained on a data set that amount to a probabilistic. It's a probabilistic algorithm that just probabilistically spits out an answer that is as correct as the data set that it's trained on. It's not
That's
AI.
not true.
Absolutely.
It's not
and it's
actually
gotten better
thinking.
over
It
time.
is absolutely true, Martha. And people I know who are literally in the cutting edge of the entire field of artificial intelligence would tell you the exact same thing. It does not exist. Alan Turing himself literally said that the question of whether or not a machine can think is so meaningless, it's not even worth answering.
So Shinobi, you're telling me that AI isn't going to create an economic boom that puts economic growth up to 20% a year and save us from the central banking fiat Ponzi collapsing like Mark bloody bananas man Cuban thinks so?
No.
Has anyone ever seen that meme?
So why is AI
Scooby
growing at
Doo?
a 39.6% CAGR over the next decade?
What did you say, John?
I said if that's the case, then why is AI growing at a 39.6% CAGR over the next 10 years?
It's not using algorithms that you don't understand how they work, that only probabilistically compute a correct answer.
How do you know I don't understand?
I don't understand who you're defining as you. Are you saying the person that is trying to understand AI or the person that's implementing those algorithms? They're fully understanding how they're getting the probabilities.
The AI thing is such a distraction from this room, I think.
I agree.
AI is a meme.
I was just trying
we
to
got
find
a couple of new people up here that haven't had a whole lot of opportunity to speak. Nesky and John. John was like messaging me to come up. So John, here's your opportunity to deliver your point, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to talk to you guys. I understand that you guys are all like extremely bullish on Bitcoin because like that's what this entire space is about. But I just don't think that you guys fully understand what Ethereum's use case is. So I just wanted to have further discussion about that. We can open it up with you guys because you guys think that Ethereum's essentially not valuable at all. So
no, it's not that we think it's not valuable. It's what we think is.
It is actually not valuable at all.
Well, then, Nesky, let me finish this thought though. Its utility is not worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Period.
Well,
its utility is worth not even
a. Let's get JC and Nesky, and then to go on this one, just because I think they're pretty particularly armed to take on this conversation.
I just wanted to say real quick that the reason why I'm invested in crypto is because of DeFi and what decentralized finance and investing in projects like Ethereum, Bitcoin,
that's not decentralized finance, that's degenerate finance.
And that's really
So let me finish. The reason why I'm invested in this space is for two things. It's because innovation of a new financial system and a new internet. And that new internet is going to be Web 3.0, and Ethereum's blockchain is what's going to be what's run on that entire internet.
JC,
and we are going to experience this digital
I really want
revolution within the next 5 to
Neski, if
10
you could take the
years.
floor on this, because Neski could really
No,
give
that's
us
okay.
some good information.
JC, go ahead. JC, go for it.
Here's the thing, John. You can like buy anything for any reason you want. I don't care if you buy Bitcoin or not. Like if you never want to buy Bitcoin, that's cool. But you think Web3 is going to be great, okay? And you think some people are going to use Web3 with Ethereum, okay? But buying an Ethereum token because of that, those two things are not the same. You're not buying like equity in Web3. You're not buying equity in Web3 adoption. You're buying a token that a bunch of people got for free. Most of it was given for free, and they sell it every single month to you after marketing to you. And you're not buying like a stake of their success. You're not buying a piece of what they get when they sell their Ethereum on you. Like all you're buying is this idea that, hey, people might use some Web3 apps on this thing called Ethereum, and then you're buying a digital token because of that, which isn't even connected. It's not like you get anything for that. It's an illusion of an investment. So it doesn't matter if that's why you bought it. It's a bad reason to buy this particular digital asset. It's not about how much utility Ethereum has or what it can do. It's about the fact that buying that token isn't a proxy to make money from its success, except for other people thinking that, oh, the same mistake that you made. Oh, I think this thing will go up because of Web3, and so I'm gonna like pay somebody else for it. Like that's not a real thing. That's why I call it mirage finance.
Yeah, they're all just buzzwords, brother. DeFi, Web 3.0, they're all just complicated buzzwords designed to sucker people in to sell their Bitcoin for things that don't actually fulfill their use cases. Like none of these things are actually decentralized. You've got the head of the SEC coming out every night on the national news saying anything that's in DeFi, it's Dino, decentralized in name only. None of them are actually decentralized. And anything that all of these shitcoins claim they can do, it can all be done on top of Bitcoin, whether that's the Lightning Network or whether that's side chains or layers like Liquid. All of it can be done on Bitcoin without the token, without the Ponzi token that the creators of these shitcoins pre-mine themselves to make themselves rich.
Yep. Like I actually met.
So what about like the
Ken.
millions of jobs that are going to be created on this blockchain network, where you can like kind of argue that Ethereum is going to be a competitor with Amazon's AWS? Wouldn't you think that the utility of the Ethereum token will be used?
No, John, don't you
I actually had a chance to speak to somebody.
How can Ethereum be a competitor to AWS when it relies on AWS to run? Like Ethereum doesn't. It's not. Blockchain isn't magic. It doesn't like run itself. It's not like an infrastructure system. It relies on AWS infrastructure. It has no inherent infrastructure. In fact, the way Ethereum is designed, the people running the infrastructure aren't the miners. The meaningful infrastructure, the miners are basically for show at this point. It's practically admitted now. They're going to fire them soon. The real infrastructure on Ethereum are the ones that run the endpoints and the ones that run the nodes, and all of that for the most part is run on AWS, and they don't get paid to run it. In fact, the Ethereum Foundation, through Consensus, which is like their marketing arm, essentially, had to pay for the biggest company. It's called Infura, which runs most of the Ethereum nodes, and it runs them on AWS. Had to acquire that company because they could no longer afford to pay Ethereum's AWS bill. It costs them a lot of money to run it, but it's okay for now because they get paid in those tokens. But to think that it's going to compete somehow with AWS, like what's going to run it? They need these cloud computers to run. It's not Ethereum is not internet infrastructure.
Like really quick, John. Like I actually in 2018 had a chance to talk for a few hours with somebody in Berlin who is actually building Web 3.0 shit on Ethereum. And after the end of this 3-hour conversation, he completely admitted none of this shit was going to be viable on Ethereum. It would all be built on Bitcoin. Because at the end of the day, what you're talking about is like decentralized protocols for streaming actual data, like BitTorrent, like anchored cryptographic protocols for things like identity, like distributed, actually decentralized data stores where you can store data in a cloud that isn't just AWS. It's a shit ton of different decentralized computers. And none of those things in any way whatsoever require Ethereum and can actually be done much more efficiently either using Bitcoin as an anchor for those functionalities or do not even need to anchor directly into any blockchain whatsoever. They just need a digital money in order to economically incentivize people to participate in them. Like the entire notion that any of that stuff is dependent on Ethereum is just completely like logically fallacious.
So I have a question for all of you guys. The crypto market is what, $2.5 trillion between every single coin that there is on this market. 5 to 10 years from now, do you think that the crypto market is going to be near the equities market, which is a $95 trillion market, or the bond market, which is a $116 trillion market? And are you trying to tell me that if it is near that, you think that entire market is going to be monopolized by Bitcoin? Are you honestly trying to, is that what
Well,
you're
first of
arguing?
all,
No, but
Can
it won't be
I take
monopolized
this?
by things like Ethereum. It'll be monopolized by other things that do not pretend to be decentralized. They just admit they are not. And at
Can I?
that point, lumping the market capitalization of those things in with Bitcoin just makes no sense.
right, it
We also have to be
already doesn't make
very.
sense. But
Oh, hold on.
go ahead,
Let me
Mike.
just
Mac.
add a real super quick point. We also have to be very skeptical of the total market cap because there's so much rehypothecation within Ethereum and within some of these quote unquote altcoins. They're counting the same USD value or the same euro value rehypothecated over and over, and that total market cap of 2 trillion is highly suspect.
There was
Yeah,
a
I think
very good evidence recently with the Shiba Inu coin when Vitalik decided he was going to dump all of it. Not just Shiba, a bunch of other coins, and they were all great examples of the real value behind the market cap. The asset was worth billions of dollars when he literally tried to sell all of it and could only get around, I think it was $6 or $7 million. Somebody can fact check me. But he could barely get anything compared relative to the market cap, and that's when he decided to pay $1 billion worth to India, which all this price coming down to $1 billion away. They're still selling that. They're still selling those coins because the liquidity is nowhere near what the market cap would imply. Look at traditional markets. There's nothing. There are no assets which are worth tens of billions of dollars, supposedly on paper, which you can't even get like $5 million out of. This is an entire. This is a sham. That market is a sham.
yeah, don't miss the
Market
forest
cap
for the
doesn't
trees.
mean anything without the actual liquidity to back it up. Like, period.
Yeah, what's his name? Is it John? Has he dropped off now? But if you're still in the crowd, dude, don't miss the forest for the trees. Like the reason the global stock markets is $90 trillion in size is because the money's broken. I think probably 80% of that 90 trillion is actually parked there because investors are looking for a store of value. Okay, I think the equities market's true value right now, if it's not being used as a store of value, is much closer to 10 trillion rather than 90 trillion. And Bitcoin's going to eat all of that. And it's not just going to eat that, it's going to also eat the massive store of value premium in the $350 trillion global real estate market, the $100 trillion fiat currency market, the $100 trillion bond market. What's the total addressable market cap for these shitcoins and their use cases that are really like flimsy? Let's put it that way.
Wait, so can you guys answer my question though? Like,
Yeah,
I just want to hear like what, like if the market cap for crypto 10 years from now is $20 trillion,
Everybody just answered that in multiple ways, though. Like, did you drop out?
I know, but I'm just confused. Like, so are you saying that Ethereum is going to be up there in the top 5? So, like, why are you guys saying that?
No, I don't.
Like,
I don't think so.
So, what would a top 5 chart look like for the entire crypto market at large?
I mean, who knows?
Like, I'm just confused. Like, you know what I mean?
It would
like,
look like Bitcoin, USDC, Tether, maybe some shitcoin like Solana, or the even more centralized thing that eats that, and like something
Throw
else.
a website token in there. There's going to
like
be a
Quant
website token. Maybe Binance.
Quant XRP.
I mean, eventually the culture does change. I'm not saying that there will never come a time when there are no more shitcoins. There will always be, anybody can make a shitcoin. We can make shitcoins right now. So there will always be shitcoins, and there will always be people that fall for them and buy them. But that group of people, that trend is going to shrink over time as people already kind of know what it is. The times when we see like what we call alt season, when we see the alt seasons are when new people are exposed to crypto for the first time. And the new people don't know the difference between, like, they don't know they're buying a shitcoin. They think they're just buying another kind of Bitcoin. And they look at it like a technology and they think, oh, this other Bitcoin is more advanced. It can do more stuff. So I'm going to invest in this one instead of that one because I'm smart, right? They don't understand what the market is yet. And that's why we see like basically these big dumb money pumps. Over time, you see those people get smarter. That's why a lot of the 2017 guys like that got burned in ICOs, they're not rushing to buy the latest DeFi thing. You learn over time, and as a society, as a culture, we're going to learn. The more people that have kind of played that game, people kind of get it, and that whole pump and dump cycle of like massive exuberance doesn't work anymore. And yeah, people will still make shit coins and people will still get tricked, but it's not going to be this cultural like, oh my God, did you hear about Doge? Like you could make, 50x if you buy this thing, hurry up. Like that illusion goes away, and you don't get, your dentist isn't actually considering buying the next Doge anymore because he's already been there, done that. Like he knows how that story ends, and eventually that, it doesn't matter. Number two is, what is number two? You've got Bitcoin, and then you've got a casino of nonsense.
Yeah, I
In
think the
10
most
years, dude,
honest
they're going to be all.
answer. I think the most honest answer is not a single one of us would ever promise you what the top 5 or what the top 10 will be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Never. But you listen to Cardano, you listen to ADA, that's the same thing. You listen to Solana, you listen to Binance. They're constantly talking about, oh, we're going to flip this coin, we're going to flip that coin. We're the next ETH killer. We're the next change the world coin. And that's the biggest difference. Bitcoin is not trying to sell you on future promises. It's already showing you what we do successfully today. It's already showing you that it can't be stopped, it can't be banned, and it just marches on.
I just want to make it really clear that I am a huge believer in Bitcoin. I understand that it is the largest network. It's never shut down. It's never been hacked. It's essentially derived from math. Like I understand that it's sound money. I'm not comparing it to Ethereum in any sense, but I just think that you guys are a little off on the fact that I shouldn't be investing into other projects because of their beliefs not being the same as Bitcoin.
Yeah, John,
and its
the bottom
utility.
line is that whatever you invest in, right, it's fundamentally your decision. But I think the message from this group is that just look deeper, right? Look beyond the marketing spell that is out there. Like, you may be a fan of Mark Cuban, you may be a fan of Mr. Wonderful.
I'm not
a
fan of Mark Cuban.
I'm just saying hypothetically, right?
I thought
So
that
there is a lot of
last space was
there is a lot
hilarious.
of marketing capital, but the recommendation is that just look at the asset, look at the underlying asset. Don't just be sort of mesmerized by marketing, by the white papers, because remember that those white papers are written by people that are being paid for by those that buy their shitcoins.
Brad, you got your hands up.
So the way I look at this is, I really do believe that in the next 5 to 8 years, Bitcoin is going to absorb a lot of that excess speculative value that's parked in other markets like real estate and bonds and stocks and everything. And that Bitcoin will go to $1 million and will become a global reserve currency. And that's like a $20 trillion market cap. I really do think that nothing else is going to follow Bitcoin on the way to a global reserve currency. I don't think you're going to have two cryptocurrencies being a global reserve currency. If Ethereum were to follow Bitcoin with the current like Bitcoin dominance index or whatever, you're looking at like a $75,000 Ethereum with like a 10 trillion market cap or whatever. I don't think that altcoins are going to follow Bitcoin once Bitcoin leaves the stratosphere and actually enters the world's like realm, the world stage as a competitor to gold and the US dollars as reserve asset. But like, yeah, sure, there will be like a crypto industry or whatever. Maybe it laggards around like 5 trillion or something total, and it's a new type of like speculative thing, and maybe there's a DeFi world or whatever where those tokens trade amongst each other with security tokens and all that stuff. But I just don't see a world where there's two decentralized global reserve currencies. I think it's Bitcoin wins as global money and global store of value, and then everything else kind of like plays around in a separate market.
I was going to say the most likely scenario is that all the other shitcoins might still trade, but they'll be denominated in Bitcoin because everything will be denominated in Bitcoin at that point. And anything that has any value, any technology has any value, that comes up in any of these shit coins will live on top of Bitcoin as a second layer. And that's just it's pretty much that simple. And we're not saying that you're wrong, and like we're not trying to be like push you away. It's just everybody dabbled in shit coins, it's like everybody did that. We're just trying to like save you some time, tell you to like dig deeper, and it's really everybody. You're either a scammer or you're on your path to becoming a Bitcoin maxi, and you're just at a different point in that path. So, we're just trying to help you along and tell you to dig deeper.
Well, there's a third option.
Well,
You could
I
be
don't think people are
you.
scammers for trying
Yeah,
to just make
I don't know
money.
about that
The
statement.
third option is that you're the guy that the same kind of person that continues to buy penny stocks for his whole life.
I mean, Ethereum's
True
not a
statement.
penny stock.
Yes, it is.
It's worse than a penny stock.
Right now, it's not a penny
So do you
stock.
guys think that NFTs aren't here to stay?
No, they
Yeah,
are.
anything from NFTs.
But you know what?
Two
People
different
do
things.
dumb
Hold on, two
things.
different things.
Because that's
And
just
like
one of the many
digital-
industries that I'll be tapping into.
Hold on. Two different things. Two different things. Digital art has existed for decades, and you could get sued if you use someone else's digital art, and you can get your money back and prove it in court if proven successful. But the scam of NFT is trying to solve a problem that was already solved before. Like the idea that will NFTs exist in the future? Sure, the marketing might exist in the future, but the function of being able to sell digital art and sue if someone uses it without your permission has always existed.
Yeah, I
Matt,
had a guy tell me
there's
the
an
other day.
aspect with
Yeah, but
the artwork
NFTs
of
aren't just digital
NFTs.
art.
I
NFTs
had
is going to be tapping into the blockchain gaming space that is run on the Ethereum blockchain network, and people will be making career livings in the metaverse. That's something that you guys
for a
probably have done
company
enough
right now,
information
by the
about,
way.
or have done
I work
enough
for a company
research
right
in.
now in the gaming space. We have thousands of users that play our video games. We do hundreds of thousands of transactions. It's all on Bitcoin, and there's no token. We don't have a token to sell you. And it's just Bitcoin. People love it, and there are people that pay their rent playing our games because, I mean, it just works, and we don't have to scam you. So, that's not true that you'd have to use Ethereum. And also, of course, the first NFTs are on Bitcoin, yada, yada, yada. But that said, if you look at the real digital collectors markets, which Matt is alluding to, there have been digital assets, collectible digital assets for a long time. Things like Counter-Strike skins, things like Magic the Gathering online cards. These markets, the average value of a thing, and they're way bigger than the NFT market today. Millions of people have been, collecting and speculating on these assets. The average value trends towards 0 cents. Trends towards zero. I mean, like people think, oh, wait until millions of people are using this. Is going to be so huge. No, these markets, once they become efficient, those things are worthless, and you can see that in the
Crown, come on, like, dude, that's just not true. Like, people pay stupid amounts of money for digital game items, and they always will. But the core point,
Magic Online.
Crown and John, the core point. These things do not need a blockchain.
They don't.
There is a thing called a one-use. There is a thing called a one-use seal, which is just a cryptographic thing showing a chain of custody that gets time-stamped by a blockchain, which does not require putting it in the actual blockchain. That can facilitate all the proof of ownership that you need for a digital item like that in a video game or any other use case, and it does not have to be inside the blockchain. Like, so the idea that Ethereum is going to fucking eat the world in that industry because everything is going to be on the Ethereum blockchain, when you can efficiently do that with just keeping everything off a blockchain and using something like open timestamps on Bitcoin to timestamp the transfer records, which is infinitely cheaper, infinitely more efficient. That's just silly as hell. That's like somebody's going to build a car that's pulled by horses instead of just putting an engine in the engine compartment.
Damn, Shinobi.
We're already starting to see the NFT craze is already showing its cracks. A great example is, we all know Beeple and his NFTs and his digital art. But if you look, the actual physical Beeple representations that you can put on your mantle, the original ones that went out first,
Those are selling for a hell of a lot more than anyone wants the copies on OpenSea.
There is
I mean, it's
something
already.
there's something interesting I wanted to bring up about the like what's happening in auction houses lately, because like Sotheby's and a couple of these houses, what they'll do is they have the ability to change marketplaces. And what people don't talk about with, like, say, why are Richard Mills $500,000 now? It's because the wealthy use it as an instrument. They use it as an instrument to be able to move money around and whatnot and hide money. And so with these NFTs, when you're seeing these rocks and these stupid things going for such big money, including the Beeple thing going for 60 some odd million, there's an incentive there by the uber wealthy to be able to use that to their advantage. Because if they see a real sale through, notice where that Beeple sell through, in auction house, that documents it.
I mean, dude, you
Well,
can
when
say that
it's
about any high level asset, like you just said with Richard Mills, but like that's just not the entire representation of NFTs.
oh, for the high priced ones, that is absolutely the entire representation of
What
them.
about
But
John,
CryptoPunks? They're the
before
first. They're
Bitcoin
like the Mona
started
Lisa
getting
of
fucked with by
NFTs.
regulations. No, but like John, before Bitcoin started getting fucked with by this recent wave of regulations in the last few years, you know what was really getting hit with that? Art. The art community. Because, like, if you've never heard of it, there is a thing called a free port in almost every major fucking country in the world, where you can literally store art either in the airport or adjacent to it, where it's not considered going through customs. So there's no tax duty, no customs duty, nothing is recognized in terms of anything that they can extract, like, taxes from.
Does your Mona
And,
Lisa painting at your house have
dude,
utility?
John, there was like a 30% drop in the volume of art sold in auction houses in Mexico when they passed their fucking like regulation reforms, trying to require more KYC information to get at that info. Like every country that has started passing regulations like that has seen a substantial drop in the volume in those markets, because there is that big of an influence in money sheltering and money laundering in those entire markets. Like that is undeniable.
Just before we palm it off to Brad as well, I mean, it's probably worth noting that the global real estate market right now is only $60 billion. That's absolute peanuts. If you look at the total addressable market cap, like even if NFTs take over the world, what's the total addressable market cap for art? Sorry, talking about art, $60 billion. Like, it's peanuts.
It's not going to be the big majority of it either.
I was just going to say that even if, John, you're right about your thesis that the metaverse is going to be like taken over and NFTs are going to become like, you know, a long-term culturally relevant thing, they're not going to be predominantly happening on Ethereum, because you just look at the data right now. Wax has more NFT users than Ethereum. Flow has more NFT users than Ethereum. Binance Smart Chain has more NFT users than Ethereum. And Solana's just got a really quickly developing NFT marketplace too. Obviously, the whales are on Ethereum, like really pumping up the prices of the Ethereum NFT series, but the users are actually going elsewhere because regular people can't afford to use Ethereum, and just look at the data. They're going to all the other blockchains to use it. So it's not like Ethereum is going to be accruing all this value of NFTs.
I mean, you guys,
NFTs
sorry to interrupt, but you guys also all have the perspective that ETH 2.0 is going to fail. So, like, I can't even counter that argument.
You have the perspective that it's going to succeed.
If ETH 2.0 does become successful and we do go from a proof of work to a proof of stake, gas fees will be significantly down, like 99.5%.
John, that's not
then
relevant to any counter. No, hold on, Phil. Like, John, nobody's arguments thus far has had anything to do with that, or gas fees, or any of that.
Well, didn't Brad just say that the average Joe can't afford to purchase NFTs?
Okay. Well, Brad did, but like all of the other arguments other people have made so far had nothing to do with that.
Also,
I mean, all of your arguments have said that Ethereum is a shitcoin.
Well, absolutely, yeah, and that there's no point to buy. Like, even if NFTs got huge, which, you know, we already see, like, the flippers are starting to get, you know, discouraged now, and we're going to see less flipping. A lot of the projects are already hard to exit. But aside from that, like, buying Ethereum doesn't get you a piece of that. It's like a Jedi mind trick. Like, hey, look at all the people that are using this network that, like, we pay to run, that doesn't actually give you any money if people use it. Buy our token.
Yeah, if you're an artist and an art collector, you're not gonna buy a piece of art that's built on a castle made of sand, because true art's supposed to last forever, right? That's what a fucking Picasso is supposed to do. None of this shit in the NFT space on whatever fucking blockchain that it's on is gonna last forever. These are pump and dumps. These are for money laundering. These are for wash trading. It's the same fiat game Ponzi in the legacy system exported onto Ethereum or whatever other fucking blockchain via A16Z. That's all it is.
On top of that,
I mean, you guys
John,
have to do. You
the
guys got to
best
do
thing
more.
I could
You guys
say
got to.
for
Let me
this
say something
argument
real
with
quick.
Ethereum, John, real quick though, the argument isn't against the 2.0 or 3.0 or 4.25 or 7.24 or whatever it's the next thing is going to be. The argument is that if it was pure, it wouldn't need that. It wouldn't need an upgrade cycle. That's the problem. Bitcoin doesn't need a 2.0. It's good at
Bitcoin has an entirely different use case.
Yeah,
I
and
just
if you took
Bitcoin is
away
how
if you
Bitcoin
took
is
away
illegal
sound
tender in
money
countries.
from if you took away the idea that
Bitcoin will not be
John, if you took away
a network that will be
idea
bringing on
that
businesses
Ethereum
to be
could be money, you would have a useless utility that has basically maybe $1 billion in value, maybe at best. If you took away the money at all, it would be damn near worthless.
John, I just explained
I mean, I'm a
how
believer
you
that
could
I think
do
that in the
an
next 20 to
NFT
35
system
years,
on
there's going to be
Bitcoin.
an opportunity where people are going to have the choice to live in the real world or in the metaverse, meaning like they could have a livelihood inside the metaverse, because we're currently experiencing this digital revolution. We saw the industrial revolution. We haven't seen a revolution in over 30, 40 years. The next revolution is going to be a digital revolution. We're
John, I literally just
moving into this
explained how
age.
you can do NFTs on Bitcoin and all of these things without having to put any of that shit inside the blockchain. Why do you need Ethereum for
I've
that?
already lived in the metaverse. Like, I've gone through a phase where I spent like hours a day in VR, like in like virtual worlds where people had art and shit too. Like, I've lived there. Like, nobody that actually does that, except for the guys that are like wanting to pump their tokens. Nobody's like, hey, you know what I wish we had? I wish we had to. I went one time. This was in like closer to 2017. I went to, it was like a Binance event in Decentraland or some, I forget which one it was. They were giving away free T-shirts, but to get the free T-shirt, I was gonna have to pay $40 in fees to get the free NFT T-shirt. Now, obviously, like, I didn't do that. Who wants that? Like, when I go right now, I can put on my Oculus right now. I can go to fucking Altspace VR, and I can go to my buddy's pool house, and he can give away T-shirts for free. Okay, we don't have to pay $45 transaction fee. Like, how's this an improvement? We already are in the metaverse, man. Go right now. There's people there that are playing real games, doing real things. They don't need a blockchain for that. That's ridiculous.
JC, they should have called them NFT shirts.
Yeah, no, John, the real revolution is the separation of money and state that Bitcoin's going to enable. There's no revolution in trading shitcoin NFTs on a blockchain that's controlled by a ruler. Okay, we're created a system that has no rulers and everybody abides by the same rules. Trading NFTs in this centralized metaverse on a blockchain run by a ruler and a centralized body, that's not a revolution.
I literally had a guy tell me that he's bullish on NFTs because you can get royalties now. And I said, where do you think the word royalties came from, bro? Like, what do you think a royalty is? Like, did you just invent that? Did you just make up that word royalties? What is royalties? How do we know what that is? Because it already existed before NFTs. This is not an NFT thing. You can get royalties right now on all of your stuff.
Royal NFTs.
Oh my God, Phil. He also thought that he was also telling me that NFTs solve the problem with publishers and distributors. A problem that is being solved right now by the internet. In fact, NFTs are recreating that problem because people can't afford to mint. So what do? They mint on these platforms that allow them to mint for free, and then encode royalties for them into your art. So because I can't afford to mint my own art, I have to use one of these platforms that'll do it for free for me, but now they get a cut of everything I do. Like the very thing that he thinks that we're escaping with this technology, it's actually making it worse. The internet is the thing that allows artists to create digital art and distribute their art, or even not digital, even physical art. The internet allows you to distribute your art and sell your goods to people. If you have an idea, if you have something that has merit, you can use a platform like Reddit or Twitter or anything, and people all around the world will see it if it's worth it. And that's what the internet has allowed, not stuff like Ethereum.
My question for you guys though is what's the roadmap? How is Ethereum going to become a $0 asset? What's going to happen? Is it going to be 10 years when the government shuts it down illegally? Like, is that what you guys think is going to
Honestly,
happen?
here I got the real answer. The danger for Ethereum is as soon as it stops outperforming Bitcoin's price, as soon as number go up stops outperforming Bitcoin on a short time frame, people are going to start pulling their assets out and just put it into Bitcoin or something else that moves faster. The speculators, the traders. Because let's face it, if it doesn't outperform Bitcoin, what's the point in holding Ethereum if I'm a trader or I'm a speculator or I'm a degen? I'm not talking about the true believers. I'm not talking about the founders. Let's be honest. Let's talk about the degens and the traders and all those other guys. There's some serious whales. These are hedge funds with billions, and they're as soon as Ethereum doesn't go up as fast as Bitcoin, it's over.
Right. They're either looking for the next new fast thing that they have some edge on, or they're in Bitcoin.
But guys, I am not a believer that Ethereum is sound money. I don't think that it's going to be our internet money.
No,
it has a completely different
I
utility.
got you, John. I got you.
I think the problem.
You're just asking what would be the death knell. Just cut to the chase. You're
Right.
just asking.
I mean,
what would
But
be
I just
the
saw a
end?
pinned thing about how Ethereum is not enough to become the world's money. Like, I don't think that is going to be the case.
John,
Read the second.
Ethereum
Like,
is
what was the relevance of
a
that?
utility token that exists to pay fees for things happening on its network, then think about it. There is literally zero economic value to hold that token except the bare minimum you need to pay fees to do other things.
If you ever want to know what, because we don't have to speculate, we actually know the answer to this question. What Brian Trolls is saying. If you ever want to know what the value of a token is, like Ethereum, to pay fees, all you have to do is look at Ethereum testnet, which has thousands of apps on it, people testing on it constantly 24/7, and the value of the Ethereum testnet token that has the same exact utility as the mainnet token is 0. Nobody pays you for Ethereum testnet token, even though it's used on thousands of applications on testnet right now to pay the fees for everything. That utility in its own little environment on testnet with no speculation, it's worth 0 right now.
Regarding the tweet,
why do you guys think that?
The issue
Ethereum
is
trying to go from a proof of work to a proof of stake?
Hold on.
Can you guys answer that?
Hold on, I'm on the first question. Ethereum's death is built into it. What it proposes to do, to be a utility, a place for people to build things, is counter to the existence of its token. When the number go up for the token, it makes the fees too high for people that want to use it for its quote unquote utility. Anytime you build something and you have a utility, if you're going to build a house, you want the cheapest cost of lumber that you can find. You don't want lumber that's going to keep skyrocketing in price because there's some token affixed to it. So people won't build there. They're going to choose a different item, or in this case, a different location to build.
This problem will be resolved after ETH 2.0, assuming that it is the success.
No,
assuming that
it doesn't actually.
And you guys can laugh at that statement as much as you want, but like
it doesn't even. Ethereum 2.0 doesn't actually even solve the scaling problem. It still runs on inherently blockchains cannot scale anyway.
Yep.
I'll take the question, John. Why is Ethereum moving from proof of work to proof of stake? Will they fail?
Well, wait. To be fair, when 3.4
talk.
comes out, though, I think the real solution is going to be there.
Oh no, but the miners are not holding back the scaling on Ethereum. Like, it's not like, oh, because they have miners, they can't scale. they can't scale because the system of nodes that have to be in sync with one another, that have to tell each other what the current state of the blockchain is, that can't move that fast. It's hard to do that.
Yeah, 100%. The reason they're moving from proof of work to proof of stake, John, is because the Ethereum founders and the people who believe in it just aren't looking at what the things that the cypherpunks said in the 1990s about proof of stake. In 1998, the cypherpunks who built Bitcoin, they were well aware that Bitcoin could not be a proof of stake system because eventually it would become centralized, and eventually the nation states and the people we're trying to disintermediate, they would come after a proof of stake system and take it down. Like, this has been known for 20 years, since 1998.
I mean, I doubt
The proof
John.
of stake
I mean,
works just
one, it
like
would be better for our
venture
John,
capital
environment.
firms.
Mining would
John,
be
That's
gone.
all it
And the
is.
main point of becoming a proof of stake is to get supply off exchanges, and then your economics
Dude,
101 comes
there's
in, which is
staking
supply and demand.
services at like every major exchange,
yeah,
like literally services to just outsource staking. Like, oh my god.
you're not going
Yeah,
to
but
stake your own.
Ethereum has an absurdly larger network than all of these other
You're
exchanges.
not going to stake your own
You
coin.
got
No,
to
no. People
understand
actually,
that.
this is a real problem that even a lot of the Ethereum thought leaders are talking about right now, because people have a choice. If I've got my 32 ETH, first of all, maybe I don't have 32 ETH, in which case I have to put it on exchange, okay, into a staking pool, or maybe even in an on-chain staking pool. Either way, I lose custody of my ETH and I get a derivative. But let's say I do have 32 ETH. Now I have a choice. I can either join the staking pool, which is going to, by the way, give me a derivative, so my 32 ETH will still be liquid. I can still spend it if you're familiar with like A tokens and all that stuff, or I can stake it myself, buy a bunch of hardware, or learn how to host it on AWS, and risk that if I fuck up, or if my internet goes out, or if I didn't configure it right, that I'm going to get slashed and I'm going to lose Ethereum. And nobody's like, I don't get paid more to do that. If I put it in a staking pool, I get derivative tokens, and I don't have to manage it, and I don't have to buy hardware. Who in their right mind, other than like just some guy that wants to torture himself, is going to take the time to actually run the hardware for that? They're going to put in a staking pool. They're going to get their derivative out, and that means they're not going to have custody of their Ethereum. Some other pool is.
Quick, JC,
Wait, can you
real
guys
quick.
let the Chill Chameleons account on the stage? I think they just raised their hand.
Hold on,
Sorry to
real quick,
interrupt,
John and Crown. Like, a huge part with staking and staking systems, that's literally, I forget what the fuck was his name, Sonny or whatever, was talking about this back in like 2016, 2017. You have to have a fucking hotkey set up on a system with your coins in them, signing shit. You literally have to have all that staking shit managed by a hot wallet, automatedly signing things. Like, if you do not have a custom built hardware security module with fucking enforcement logic to never sign the wrong things to fuck you and lose your money that has zero security benefits, your shit's literally just sitting on a desktop connected to a fucking network all day. Like, that, you cannot just hack a fucking server farm and magically take control of all that mining hardware in a way that can never just be like, we're just going to fix it and now we have control again. When they steal your staking keys, your staking coins, you're fucked. And the entire consensus mechanism of the entire system is open to that attack vector.
I mean, that's a very radical opinion.
No, it's not. That's OGs working on fucking proof of stake systems 5-6 years ago recognized that, and we're literally trying to sell like hardware systems specifically to address that problem. That's not a radical fucking position. That's a holy shit, this is dead obvious position.
It's pretty common knowledge. I think the biggest problem with political systems throughout society has been that money always takes over, even when you try really hard. The United States is a good example. The founding fathers tried really hard to make it a representative system where people had their opinion mattered. They would elect rulers that they would presumably pick because they were smart and had their interests in mind. And we've even, some states have like outlawed, putting too much money in, at least traditionally. Now we've gone to more money. But either way, like, it's been universally recognized that you don't want a system where the rich rule because they are rich. And what does Ethereum propose now? To literally create a system where the rich rule because they are rich, and not even like by proxy, not even like some roundabout way where the rich end up ruling because they're rich. No, like literally because you are rich, you now get to rule. It is the worst part of every political system that's ever existed, and that's the entire point of this new one. And you're going to support that for some reason. I don't know why.
How could you disallow that argument for Bitcoin, dude?
No, the rich
It's the
don't have
same
any
thing.
control.
Anyone can buy
What do you
Bitcoin. Anyone can buy Ethereum.
what do you mean?
Countries can ban like you were saying.
Bitcoin,
Like you were saying.
no. Bitcoin is validated by and decentralized by all the nodes all across the world, the hundreds of thousands of them that are completely out of reach of any central authority or government. The miners can't even outvote
So
all the nodes.
wait. What happens if what happens if the United States bans Bitcoin and I literally cannot purchase it?
Wait.
And then they just monopolize the entire
No,
supply.
you
Have
can do whatever you want.
Years,
Bitcoin doesn't stop working because the United States bans it, dude. You can go, and anybody who has Bitcoin and you have something they want, they can give you that Bitcoin. Government can't stop you. Now, they can threaten you. They can create any kind of laws they want. Same thing like they did in China. Same thing like they did in India. Same thing like they did in Nigeria. What happened there? Nigeria uses more Bitcoin than anywhere else in the world right now. They banned Bitcoin. India, did they stop using Bitcoin when it was banned? No, they actually unbanned it. China, same thing. They banned it a million times and then unbanned it. Now they got rid of the miners.
Bro, you need some Bitcoin, bro? I got some Bitcoin, bro.
Yeah, Nigeria unbanned it as well. And what would we do? Like, honestly, we would all just flip on our VPNs, which will be on your computer, which will be on your phone, which will be on any device you own. Just turn your VPN on and still transact with your Bitcoin.
And you're responding
within 2 years, drug dealers would be mining Bitcoin to deal Bitcoin like they deal drugs. Period.
And that's not a response, by the way, to the what I was saying was that Ethereum is literally building a system where the rich rule. And you said, just like Bitcoin, what if they ban it? That's not a real response to that. In Bitcoin, the rich do not have any power. Like, sure, you can buy more Bitcoin than poor people can, but that doesn't give you any power over the protocol. It doesn't give you any power over the consensus. It doesn't allow you to decide, how many Bitcoin are going to be created tomorrow or whatever the rules are. On Ethereum, literally, or rather on any proof of stake system, those who control the coins, those who have the stake, they do control the protocol. They sign to determine what is a valid block and what's not. And if you want to change the rules, it's up to the majority of holders. In other words, the richest people. It's not how it works on Bitcoin at all by design, because that was a really, really bad design.
And it's not even speculation that the rich can't control Bitcoin. We've seen an example of it. The richest Bitcoiners tried to fuck with Bitcoin and change it in 2017 by increasing the block size, and they failed because there's hundreds of thousands of node runners around the world who all have an equal vote as any fucking billionaire who comes into the Bitcoin space and tries to change it. That's not the case for all of these other 12,000 pre-mined centralized securities.
Yeah. When Ethereum, one of Ethereum's biggest vulnerabilities is not if the U.S. all of a sudden decides we want to ban it. It's if Jeff Bezos and Amazon suddenly decide, you know what, we are going to come out with our own altcoin, and we don't really want to compete with Ethereum. So Ethereum, pack your bags, you're out, you're gone. And then who's going to host Ethereum?
That's just like an illogical statement to make, dude.
Ethereum is run on AWS. Ethereum, you got to remember, we're talking
AWS. What are you talking about?
We're talking to John. It's one of the guys that, I saw like this one YouTuber one day. He had like 3 million followers, and he was saying the same thing. Like, Ethereum is going to be like the next AWS. It's like a popular kind of like it's like a popular kind of like thought that people that don't know tech, but they kind of like understand like the big ideas have. Like, how it's really crazy like to think that Ethereum does not have its own infrastructure. They rely on AWS, whereas Bitcoin, and the reason why, by the way, is because they want to quote unquote scale on the first layer. That's why Bitcoin does not try to scale on layer 1, because if you want millions of transactions per second, that means you need a really big computer. It's just like a website. The blockchains are just web apps at the end of the day. Somebody has to run it on their computer. And if it's not all of us running it on our computers, then we're trusting somebody else running it for us. And so if you want all of us to be able to run it on our computers, it has to be really easy to run, which means it can't do millions of transactions per second, because then you need a big ass server in your house, right? So Ethereum has no qualms with that. They don't care if it takes you a big old server to run it. They want to be able to do lots and lots and lots of transactions. Bitcoin is the opposite. That's why it's not the same. Bitcoin says, you know what? We're only going to allow one floppy disk worth of information every 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes, it's like a tiny amount of information every 10 minutes. Anybody can run it. I got a $40 computer on my desk right now that's running the entire Bitcoin network on a $40 computer. You can use your 10-year-old laptop, whatever you want to do. And that's super important. That's super, super, super important. Ethereum has given that away. They've given up on that idea. And that's why it can never be decentralized in the same way. That's why it has to have things like AWS to run. And that's why AWS and Amazon is a threat to Ethereum.
Yeah, that was just my point. And that's also why that's also why the founders and the powers that be will forever be able to make whatever changes they want to Ethereum without anyone having the ability to vote it down, because no one can control enough of Ethereum and vote against them.
So, like, I think our only difference is, well, first of all, I'm not a Bitcoin maxi, but I am a very strong believer in Bitcoin. I understand its purpose. I understand its longevity. I understand its potential. Not saying it's going to be a $5 million coin like this decade, but our main difference is that you guys don't think that we can live in a world where Ethereum and Bitcoin can both be long-lasting assets. I don't think that Ethereum is, again, going to be a lending tether. Sound money, or it's not going to be the internet money, or it's not going to be a legal tender in other nations like El Salvador, all these other different countries. But I do believe that if we do see a crypto market where it hits 20 to 30 trillion, or even matching the equities market around $95 trillion, I still think that Ethereum could take a chunk of that. I think it could be at least a $10 trillion market cap and surpass gold's market cap as well as Bitcoin. But obviously, I'm not a flipping guy either. I think that Bitcoin will always be the #1 largest crypto by market cap. But I still think that Ethereum is not a shitcoin like you guys think. And that's like our main difference, in my opinion.
Brad.
I hold in 25% of my portfolio, my Roth IRA is GBTC for a reason. 30% of my portfolio in crypto is Bitcoin. I'm a 21-year-old college student, and I can take on risk. So my entire portfolio is in Bitcoin. Yes, I'm taking advantage of all of these different altcoins because I do see a better return on my investment. And I do have conviction for a lot of these projects within the next 5 to 10 years. I'm not investing in
John, you can
shitcoins. I don't hold
trade
Shiba
these
Inu.
things
I don't hold
without
Dogecoin. I don't hold
deluding yourself about the long-term technical potential for them. Like, I'm sorry, dude, but I'm just gonna say it, man. Like, I really do feel like people have been making very nuanced, deep technical arguments towards you for like the last hour or two, and you just keep like not responding to those.
No, you guys are literally just arguing that I should be a Bitcoin maxi.
No,
that's your argument.
I don't care if you buy Bitcoin.
That's your argument.
Arguments about
You think
very
that
specific
Ethereum is going
things.
to zero. You think that all
John,
of these other
I
coins are
just
going to zero.
explained to you like 30 minutes ago on how you can do something like an NFT that you don't directly put in a blockchain, that you timestamp and secure transfer
you literally also
with
told
Bitcoin.
me that AI is a meme.
And yes, and if you actually follow me and want to engage with things in the future, I actually know somebody who's been in academia in the cutting edge of that space for like the last 6 fucking years, and he would tell you the exact same thing.
Yeah, but you said AI is a meme, bro.
Yeah,
like, I feel like you lost
and the
all
person
credibility
who
when
has
you said that
spent
artificial
6
intelligence
years
is
the amount of credibility that Shinobi has
would
is
say the
pretty.
same thing.
Do you guys not think that AI is going to, and automation at large, is going to cut 2/3 of the workforce, like, or at least 1/3 of it in the next 10 years with the advancement of technology? Like, how would AI be a meme if that would be the case? I just lost all credibility for you after you said that.
No, one, I don't
honestly
think it will do that.
I'm 21 years old. I think I've held my ground in this, stage. If you guys want to give me a follow,
algorithm that can replicate a behavior to a very narrow degree with huge error proneness is not AI. And also, no, it's not going to just automate things. Can you imagine the legal liability of a fleet of semi-trucks on the highway with no human being there to take over, to error correct, just rolling down the highway? That's not going to happen.
It's happening right now, dude. Tesla
no,
has
it's being tested and little pilot programs.
No, it's
have
not.
You
it's
heard
implemented.
Of the street?
I have a buddy that has a Tesla Model Y that has self-driving.
Have you heard of the street in, I think it's LA or San Francisco, where literally 10, 15, 20 times a day, the self-driving cars and pilot programs there are literally going down the same dead-end street and then having to do a 3-point turn to get out of it because the entire fucking algorithm that is navigating for them and responding to the environment keeps literally taking them to a dead-end street that cannot get them to their fucking destination and having to do the same thing over and over and over every day. And everybody on the block is getting weirded out by that. Like, you think that is going to eat the world? A machine learning program that literally can't prevent itself from going down a dead-end street over and over and over again, when a human being making that mistake once would just go, okay, that's not going to get me where I'm going. Never doing that again.
John, I think the important thing is you've gotten an amazing feedback from so many people, and you've come to the right place, right? So you have all of these ideas, right? You're kind of at the table, and you have fancy things all around you, right? And you're like, hey, this is super exciting. This is super exciting. But the bottom line is that the message is that this is the first time in like 1,000 years where we have an asset that cannot be corrupted by anyone, cannot be corrupted by any business, any government. And you are here today in this room, and you have a conversation about this asset. So just focus on learning about Bitcoin as much as you can. You may be still, after you learn about Bitcoin, after you read the books and etc., you understood what it actually is as an asset, you may still be excited about like a whole bunch of other shitcoins and a whole bunch of shitcoins and etc. But the important thing is that at least you will have a good grounding in this very, very unique asset that we just recently created, just a little bit over 10 years ago. Like, you're not going to lose anything, right, if you just spend time learning about Bitcoin.
100%.
That's fundamentally the core of this message, right?
Can we at least settle on the fact that not all
it's entirely up to you. Like, it's entirely up to you how you want to spend your time, right? If you want to be excited about Ethereum.
Can I ask you one quick question? Could we settle on the fact that not every single altcoin is a shitcoin?
No, I disagree.
The point, John, is that it doesn't matter, right? What matters is that you have a unique asset that's never existed on the planet Earth.
So this is my question.
And that is Bitcoin. So you're not gonna lose anything. You're not gonna lose anything if you just keep learning and understanding the asset in a much greater depth.
Let me ask a question. So let's just say every single altcoin is a shitcoin. What's their timeline? Like, why not take advantage of the return on investment on these other altcoins at lower market caps instead of just shoving all your money into Bitcoin?
The message is that you need to understand what is the store of value.
All right, one person at a time, folks.
Bitcoin's returns right now, on average, about in the last 10 years anyway, over 220% per year compounded. That's freaking massive for any asset we've ever seen. And you're saying, hey, instead, why don't you gamble as a trader on all this stuff that nobody knows when it's going to go up or down?
It's not gambling.
No, it is. It's absolutely gambling. Like, sure, are there things that go up in value faster than Bitcoin? Not just in crypto market, all around the stock market, everywhere.
That have utility, yeah.
The utility is not the reason why anything pumps.
Vector Space AI is a good example. I do a podcast. If you guys go to that YouTube channel, my pinned tweet, you can watch my entire podcast.
Bro, that's why you're not listening to the arguments. You're here to shoot yourself.
Guys.
We figured it all out. We figured it all out, guys. Go follow his
No, I'm
shit.
not, dude. I'm just giving examples because you guys are saying that every single.
You're saying that we should gamble.
I think I've held my ground, guys. So if you want to follow me on my channel, please go follow me on my channel.
Guys. John, nobody is saying that there is not opportunity to gain greater rewards for greater risk in this space. What we've been arguing, at least what I've been arguing towards, is that on a technical level, on a fundamental level, those things are all dead ends. I'm not saying there is not an opportunity to take greater risk and get greater reward, but fundamentally on the long time horizon, they're all dead ends because there are much more efficient ways to do things.
What about vector space AI, where they're basically selling these data sets to
John, the point is
billion-dollar
not about
corporations,
vector
hedge
space AI
funds,
or AI or
advanced.
Tesla bot. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, the message we're trying to convey to you is that you need to focus on understanding what is a store of value that cannot be corrupted by any individual, any business, or any state. Do you understand? Like, and this is the first time in history where we have such an asset. So the point is that you're not going to lose any of your time if you keep learning about Bitcoin and understanding it in much greater depth than what the way you understand right now.
You guys know Josh Terry? I've learned a lot about Bitcoin from Josh Terry. I'm sure you guys know who he is.
John, what's your allocation on a percentage basis? Not numbers of coins, but on a percentage basis in your portfolio, Bitcoin to Ethereum.
So, I mean, would you consider the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust as part of that allocation, or just like
that's
Bitcoin
actually
itself?
the best place to possibly get Bitcoin? I think it's the safest place for you to get Bitcoin, actually. So, how much is?
So I think I said 25%, but that was when I purchased GBTC in my Roth. It now equates to, I think, 42.5% of my Roth in Bitcoin, and I started that a few years ago. I have a pretty decent sized portfolio in my Roth IRA, and then in my actual wallets between my MetaMask, Coinbase, everything, I actually hold more Ethereum than Bitcoin currently, but that's also because I'm very active in the NFT market. And
I'm talking on a percentage basis of everything, not like of your Roth, of like everything.
Oh, like total like net worth of like how much? Because 90% of my net worth is in crypto, but out of my entire crypto portfolio, I would say only like 15% right now is in Bitcoin.
Mostly in the safest place to put the Bitcoin, mostly in the safest place, which is Grayscale, is right?
Listen,
congrats, man! Great job.
Listen, I mean, we don't have to convince.
Thank you. I mean, dude, like I'm only 21.
We don't have to convince him.
Yeah,
I'm young.
John, exactly.
He
You're only
figures it out
21, but you're lucky.
He's going to figure it out for
I'm
himself.
talking to you guys about Bitcoin right now. I have people that I live with that are currently hungover, sleeping right now in their bed, and I'm talking to you guys on a Twitter space about the evolution of the financial system. So, like, don't think that I'm like a moron. Like, I put a lot of effort and time into learning skills, understanding what the future is going to be, understanding innovation, and I understand that Bitcoin is going to be playing a huge role in our financial
You spend
systems.
a lot of time
like I completely
engaging with
agree with
marketing
you
that fools a lot of people that are a lot smarter than you. Like, even very technical people can get sucked into the same kind of marketing. Nothing that you've said, I'm sorry, I value kind of being forward sometimes. Nothing that you've said has demonstrated a fundamental understanding of what's happening. Has your portfolio gone up in the last year? Absolutely. Is it going to go up in the next 2 years? No, you're going to get fucked. That's the facts. You'll learn it. I don't have to convince you.
I mean, you don't understand.
You're going to see it for
I didn't tell you
yourself.
what my exiting strategy was. I didn't tell you what I'm planning on doing with my other assets.
Yeah, nobody really cares, John.
You're going to figure it out.
The point
you
is,
can't say that I'm fucked, dude.
Like, the point is that you can fuck around with like a whole bunch of things, right? Ethereum tokens, other shitcoins, Shiba tokens. You can fucking follow, Elon Musk. You can it doesn't really matter. What actually matters is that what we're trying to convey to you is that so you have a better understanding of Bitcoin as a store of value, because you don't right now.
Dude,
based on what you've been saying.
I do.
No, like you don't. like ask anybody in this room. Like, you just don't understand what the asset is. Like, I'm not trying to bullshit you, right? You just don't understand. You just need to learn more about it.
I understand that I can make a decent amount of money during this bull market with these other coins, because I understand that the government isn't just going to come out and pull out their cock and say, okay, we're banning every single shitcoin that's not named Bitcoin. All your assets go to zero. I understand that that's not going to happen for a very long time. We haven't even seen regulation yet.
Gensler's been saying?
I am, but I'm telling you, I am a believer in Bitcoin. I understand what its potential is, but I'm 21 years old. I can take on risk, and I can make more money right now trading, essentially. Well, swing trading. I've been holding my assets for probably 6.5, 7 months now. I'm going to be scaling out of most likely 65 to 70% of my alts before this winter. By the end of Q4, I have some price targets on Bitcoin where I'm going to start scaling out of my other alts. And yes, during the bear market, I will be accumulating. Most likely, I'll be accumulating a lot of Bitcoin if we see a 50 to 70% retracement. I genuinely believe that's going to be the last time we see one of these bear markets where we do pull back 50 to 70%, because we are getting regulation within the next 1 to 2 years. And I think that this is like the last bull cycle, so to say, that we've seen these last 4 to 5 bull cycles.
John, a simple question, right? You're saying, like, if you have some expertise with Bitcoin, like, who is your top influencer? Like, top 2 influencers in the Bitcoin space? Could you just name them to us?
In the Bitcoin space or in the crypto
Bitcoin space?
I mean, it would probably be Preston, I don't know. Like, I'm open-minded. I don't just follow one person and just read everyone's tweet or watch everyone's YouTube video. I do research. I look at on-chain metrics. I look where the big money's flowing. I do my own research. Like, there's not one person that I just like is my oracle, essentially. Like, I don't know.
You study
I
the
follow a
on-chain
decent amount of
metrics, but
people
you
that are.
keep your Bitcoin in GBDC?
I mean, that's my Roth IRA. I can't hold Bitcoin in my Roth IRA, can I?
You just said your Bitcoin position, your largest part of your Bitcoin position is in GBDC. So basically, you're saying you put your altcoins in a cold storage, or you don't have any Bitcoin in cold storage?
No, I do have Bitcoin on my Coinbase wallet. I said that 42.5% of my Roth IRA is allocated towards GBTC. I have more Bitcoin on GBTC within my Roth IRA than I do on my non-custodial wallet. Like, as of right now, yes. But like, that's obviously not going to be the case 10 years from now. But in the position where I am right now, that is the case.
John, you actually
I'm 21 years old, guys. I'm not a boomer like you guys.
Like, John, you
millions of dollars.
John,
I'm a senior in
are
college.
you familiar with Parker Lewis?
You
John, are you
can
familiar with
set
Parker
up
Lewis?
self-directed like IRAs where you hold your own keys. Like, that is possible.
Wait, well, I can't hear you. Can you say that again?
You can set up a self-directed IRA where you hold your own keys.
I have a TD Ameritrade account where my Roth IRA is, and I hold GBTC, and it has an expense ratio of like 2%, which I'm fine with, and I'm up like 85% on my position in the last 3 months, and I'm fine with that. I'm personally fine with that. I don't need to like give myself a headache and open a self-directed IRA at 21 years old.
This is going to be such a long, drawn-out conversation on the game theory of why you have your Bitcoin in cold storage and all of these different things. Like, it's going to get in such a long, drawn-out. I actually would like to try. I'd like to change the conversation anyway, because I'm kind of sick of talking about Ethereum. Like, it's getting kind of old.
Hey, I just want to say something right quick. I fuck with everybody on the stage. Everyone here is freaking dope, knows their shit. Except for John. I'm just fucking with you, man. But
you're the man.
I don't want to talk about Tesla for too long, but someone did say something that I have to pinpoint. It actually annoys me because it's the same argument that Bitcoiners have towards other coins, that actually their lack of knowledge of those coins. The lack of the people who are buying those coins, their lack of knowledge about the how Bitcoin works, for example, shows that they're pretty ignorant towards, the full depth, of Bitcoin and how it truly works, right? It's similar to the argument someone just made about Tesla and the other full self-driving full self-driving methods. Tesla's using a vision-based method. And I'm not here to, freaking suck Elon's dick or whatever. I'm just saying, like, it was. I followed that that development, just like I follow how Bitcoin, from a technical standpoint, is vastly superior to the other coins that are out there. I just kind of want to make that point that Tesla using vision-based to train their AI versus the others who are using what's known as like LiDAR, and they're kind of doing. They're mapping the world real time, but LiDAR is not scalable. LiDAR is not a good way.
But it's Colin.
Do you know what I mean?
No, totally. I think it's a fair feedback. It's kind of a little bit irrelevant to what we've been discussing, right? And if you're trying to make a parallel
I feel
in terms of how different what you just said is from like everything else to Bitcoin, it's just not relevant, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I feel you. Totally. I absolutely feel you. I was just saying, like, it was just, it's kind of, we're doing the same thing that, the other people who buy into those other altcoins, the narratives and all that stuff, to what made, I was just kind of giving that example.
Yeah,
there,
for sure.
Guys, I'm getting off. I just want to say quick concluding thoughts. I just wanted to thank Dennis for allowing me to be on this space. I appreciate you, dude. I literally DM'd you on Twitter and you let me on, so that was really cool. I just have one question: who held their ground more, me or Mark Cuban? And then I'll get off.
John, that's not the point. The point is that, again, so when we asked you to kind of list the influencers right in space, like, you didn't name anyone. Let me just give you a couple of names, right? Parker Lewis.
Wait, let me go to my notes.
Go take a pencil, take like a piece of paper and write it down.
And dude, I got on here because I wanted
Yeah,
to
totally.
learn. So
Okay,
like,
so
don't think
Parker
that I just
Lewis.
came on here to like
I'm just
show
gonna,
or to
I'm gonna
sabotage
keep
you
it
guys or just
simple.
be an
I'm gonna
asshole.
give you two names, Parker Lewis, and that's the first name, and the second name is Jamison Lop. So the last.
How do you spell that?
So Jameson, and then Lop is L-O and double P.
Big
And
facts.
are these
Jameson Lop is
YouTubers,
off the chain.
Twitter, like everything, or podcasts?
So for
Just Google,
podcast,
you'll find a.
Guy Swan.
Yeah, if I can make a comment,
Lop.net,
if I can
man.
make a comment, John, Spaces is a really good place to learn. And half a year ago, I was actually making all the same arguments that you were making. And then in spring, Spaces came along. And the first 2 weeks of Spaces, I became a Bitcoin maximalist after like listening to all these really smart guys explain all this stuff to me. So just, I would say keep learning. Yeah. Follow the right people. And there's books you can read. There's spaces you can go to. I hold a semi-regular one where we just, we do what we just did. Have altcoiners come up, ask their questions. There's a lot to learn, but yeah.
And if you guys, the guys that are speakers on here, if you guys want to follow me, send me stuff every day.
Okay, John,
that
come
you
on,
think that I
seriously,
can
like
read up
that's
on,
not
like
that's
just
not the that's
mentor
not the
me
right
on
room.
Twitter.
Like you had the entire room. We spent our time. We actually gave you good good material. Like we explained things to you. Like filling your Twitter following is
Dude,
just
that's
ridiculous,
like the
dude.
No, I'm
8th
not.
time, bro.
John, that was ballsy.
No,
You're
it's
right.
just like
Dude,
dude, you're
can
just
I
being fucking silly.
balls.
Jesus
Really.
Ballsy, John.
Christ. Let me finish. I said the people that are speaking on speakers, the 9 of you or the 12 of you that clearly have a very good perspective on Bitcoin. If you guys want, what I was going to say, if you guys wanted to follow me and be a little like Twitter mentor to me and send me things that you want me to, that you think would be valuable if I were to look at, like that would be much appreciated. That's all I was going to say.
I charge $850 per course.
Follow John, everybody.
And I'm gonna DM all 12 of you my Bitcoin wallet so you guys can send me Bitcoin because clearly I don't have enough Bitcoin. So. We can start a GoFundMe for me so I can have 50% of my crypto port be Bitcoin.
I'll send you.
John, thank you for getting your point across here. Dennis, thank you for pulling me up on stage. I just want to make a quick statement before John. It sounds like you're about to head out, and I want to say, dude, great courage in coming up here. It's a bit of a lion's den when you're the lone altcoiner, but I think that takes a lot of courage to come up here. So I just wanted to kind of just make a few points here, and I think
no
that
courage
it's
here,
great that you
dude.
want to learn
no
more.
courage. Like it's got nothing to do with courage.
Nesky, you're
Dude, you're an asshole. I'm sorry, but you suck.
Nesky's the shit. Nesky is the shit.
Like,
guys,
nah,
save the
he's probably a good guy
autism
with
for
great
adults.
intentions, but like, dude,
It's got nothing to do with courage. Seriously, dudes. It's just some random guy that is clueless, and we're trying to educate.
John.
Well, okay, so
I took a fucking risk.
Maybe if I can make a point, because John, I think this might be helpful for you, because I've been in the technology space with my business for quite some time, in cloud software, open source for just under a couple decades now, and I'm somewhat of a newbie to as far as like Bitcoin investments in the past like year and a half or so. But I've done my fair share of rabbit hole research, and I think these guys are definitely putting you on the right course. But I think it's really just a matter of like looking at trading versus long-term investing. And I know you're young, you're in your early 20s.
I'm a long-term investor, bro. I'm a long-term investor.
And I think it's great that you want to start now in long-term investing. I think that's
I've been
where you want to.
I've been in the game for a year and a half for crypto and 4 years for equities.
So, but
don't undercredit me. Don't undercredit me. I'm a finance and economics major at a prestigious university. I understand the difference between trading and long-term investing, but thank you so much for the advice. I appreciate that.
The VCs are telling you they really want you to buy all of their stuff, all the marketing that you're getting.
Dude,
I am
marketing.
So you gotta push through.
I have 140,000 followers
the noise.
on TikTok.
Hold on. Can you? I appreciate that. I want you to listen for a second. So the trading and long-term investing, the VCs want you to trade. Bitcoiners want you to invest. They want a better life for you and your family. And when you get older, you'll realize that. And the VCs are pushing the narrative like high time preference. They want to manipulate you into thinking that like Web3 is the new reality, like AI, all this stuff.
Web3 is the future, baby. It's the new internet. Semantic technology is the future.
They want to tell you that, but at the same time, you got to understand,
we got
man,
nowhere
like,
with him.
I've been working
yeah. I mean, it's a dead end. Look,
I've been.
just
No,
hold
you
on,
you
hold
guys
on.
you guys you
We
guys let me.
wasted an hour of our time.
Guys,
Hopefully, other
let
people have
Wait,
Tony
said.
John,
finish.
Rob, we did not waste our time.
I've got a
We
point. I got a
absolutely
point I want to
wasted
make.
our time.
I got a point I want to make. So the layers of internet that we've built so far on TCP, IP, it's missing a layer, and Bitcoin offers you that layer of transactions on a trustless system that will really change the world. And so, opening your eyes to that possibility will make everything else irrelevant. All of these altcoins that are trying to do everything are going to be replaced by Lightning before you know it. The Lightning Network is growing faster than we can even think. It's being integrated into Twitter. It's being adopted by nation states. And so that's something to consider that when you're putting your money into something that's
totally.
going to be made
By the way,
irrelevant sooner than later.
speaking of Lightning, John, we have a very, very, very important good news for you. A couple of days ago, we reached a very important milestone, 1,000 nodes on PlebNet. And to commemorate this milestone, we launched a Lightning Challenge, which is we pick a random person from the audience and have them build a fully functional Lightning node within 48 hours. And the good news is that that person is you.
Wait, say that again. Sorry. So what do I have to do?
You have to build a fully functional
Too much
Lightning node within
autism.
48 hours.
Yeah, I'll pass.
Okay, that's all I had to say was, John, thanks for jumping in here a minute.
Yeah, and like deadass though, guys, send me articles. 'Cause I
John,
wanna
the
learn.
semantic
Like
web
deadass.
existed
Like write
as
my
a
Twitter name down.
concept
Send me
before
articles.
Bitcoin.
Anything that you think that would be valuable to me, send me because I'm a
Am I
learner. I'm
asshole
not.
guy? Is that who I am?
Yeah, no, I
I'll
remember
gladly
you.
be asshole guy.
Yeah. No, you. Yeah, were you asshole guy?
Asshole guy will make you learn more faster than anybody else. So I'll be the asshole.
Sweet, I just followed you, Tony. I'm following Rob. Rob said that I've acquired no progress from this conversation, but I followed Rob. The guy that said that AI was a meme dipped, but I followed him. Oh no, he's right here.
It is a meme,
Followed you.
and an expert in the field of 6 years of constant academic research would tell you the same thing. Rob, I'm opening the swimming pool soon.
Oh, fire up the autism levels. Let's fucking go.
I mean, I'm not gonna waste your time more, but thank you guys again.
I said you
Like, I
wasted our
genuinely
time
mean
because
that.
you literally at the end of after this long-winded hour-long conversation. Luckily, there's a big audience here, so obviously it wasn't a waste of time because there's other people listening that probably benefited quite a bit. So that's what's nice about these is that there's an audience here. But you just literally said, "Well, Web 3.0, just wait till Web 3.0. The internet's fine. They're scaling it. They're building on top of it. Just like Bitcoin is fine. They're scaling it. They're building on top of it. There's no need for these other things. There's no need for an internet 3.0.
That we're just gonna throw it.
It's like you to go through
John,
an hour-long
the
conversation
semantic
for you to say
web
that was like wild to me.
predates Bitcoin. Like shit coins like Ethereum and this Web 3.0.
Say that again. The semantic web predates Bitcoin.
Yeah.
They're two completely different things, dude. Bitcoin is a sound
Dude,
money.
everything that
Semantic
Web
technology
3.0
is a
nonsense
technology
is trying to
for
do is
search
implement the semantic web. Guess what? You don't need shitcoins for that.
Yeah,
that has nothing to. I mean, what's this Web 3 going to be run on?
it's something that your browser uses. Your browser, you go to websites.
Would it be so? You don't think it's gonna? You don't think the new internet's going to be decentralized?
Dude, the internet
or run on a blockchain?
No, of course not. That's silly.
All right, Rob.
It's already
Web 3 is not. Web 3 does not equal blockchain, dude. Web 3 has never equaled blockchain. Web 3 is just new ways. And by the way, it already exists. You already have Web 3 enabled websites right now that don't use blockchain. That's already a thing. Like somehow shitcoins have like put in everybody's head like, oh, this new fancy Web 3 thing is coming and it's all going to be shitcoins. Like you can go, most websites actually, I'd say most websites with like a lot of functionality in them, like games or whatever, are using Web 3. A lot of plugins use Web 3. Web 3 is already a thing. It's already here. And
so why can't I say the same thing in the 60s as boomers that said that there's no way going to be flying cars in the future?
You can say that.
And now we're looking to see it to have flying cars.
You can say anything. You can say, oh, boomers said there were no flying cars, so I'll tell you what, like you're going to fly in 2 years. Like I can say that if I want to. It doesn't make me not an idiot for thinking that, though.
So you don't think there's going
to... don't think that you're going to fly in 2 years. I don't think just because some boomer said something that wasn't true that I can use that as an excuse to say anything could be true. Sure, anything can be true. Okay, I got you.
I just think that you guys poorly judge and understand
No,
technology
you've
and
really
how
shown, like,
fastly
no,
we are
you've literally
advancing.
shown.
Yes,
It
I'm
is
sorry,
you're gonna
very
John.
know the
You've
best test
literally
nets
shown that
for
you don't
Bitcoin. It's gonna be a
understand
test net. It's
Crown,
gonna
Crown. Have
technology.
we
enable
gotten
us.
anywhere with him? Like, it's
No,
lucky that we have
it's
an audience here.
really,
Like,
really annoying
am I
because
am I the only
He's just
dick here?
JC. He's just
no,
trolling us.
he's
JC, he's trolling.
proven that
We're
he doesn't
being shilled
understand
right now,
technology.
dude.
He's just
He's
trolling us.
proven that he doesn't understand technology. He's like, guys, I'm trying to tell you, you don't understand. Like, dude, come on.
No, you only understand
No, I
Bitcoin's
fucking work
technology.
in
You
the
don't.
space,
You aren't
guy.
open
I've been
minded.
since you were like
You aren't
15
open.
years
You guys
old.
aren't
Since you were like
open
15
minded.
years old, I've been helping people build blockchain bullshit. Okay, I fucking hate it. Like I could sit here and break it down with you, but you still don't fucking understand because I already did, and you didn't understand.
You know what a
Yes, I know
DLT
what
is?
it's. Oh my god, seriously,
Dude, you have the co-host
JC,
ability,
he's
Crown.
trolling us.
One
JC, he's just
button.
trolling us.
I'm not trolling. I'm just saying.
Okay,
Just
shut the
be
fuck up.
open-minded.
JC, he's trolling us. Seriously.
No, I'm
Dude,
not.
he's
Okay,
absolutely
I'll
trolling
get off.
us.
Guys,
You-
I'm not trolling. I'll get off this. I'm sorry.
You got
but
offered by
again,
one of
thank
the
you for having me on.
best people in the Bitcoin space, Nesky, just offered you to build a lightning node, and you said, "I'm not gonna do that," like some fucking little prick, dude. Like,
No,
are you serious,
I
bro?
didn't hear what he said. What? Wait.
You have to build a fully functional lightning node within 48 hours. That's what we are saying.
But I thought you were just saying that to be an asshole because I wouldn't know how to do that. Like I thought that's what you were saying.
No, we just delivered the good news to you. That was good news for you. Is that you were chosen.
He was being
to build
so
that
generous to you.
Oh well, I'll accept it. I'm sorry. I thought you were just being a dick and knew that I wouldn't know how to do that in 48 hours, and that's why you said that. Like I literally thought that's what you meant, and I laughed.
Yo, I got
because I
like
thought you were
so
just
many
trying to,
DMs about like people don't want to hear John anymore.
Dude, I've been trying to push for that so bad,
I'm
dude.
just gonna
It's
push the button.
good for the audience.
I'll leave. I'll leave,
All right,
Rob.
I pushed the button. Sorry. I literally got like 6 DMs right now saying get him off. I've been trying to get. There's another guy that I want to get on. The guy that looks like an on-chain monkey. And see all the 100%. I wasn't just like saying that. Like a million people just did like little 100% sign in the audience. Did it work? I'm trying to get.
Hey, what's up, British? How you doing tonight, man? Did you get a chance to listen to that earlier?
Yeah, I listened to the whole thing. Hey guys, always appreciate the discussions. Hardcore on the Bitcoin stuff. Even though like a buddy of mine once said, gambling addictions can't be cured, so that's my profile pic. But no, I just love learning about the Bitcoin stuff that you guys and really like kind of reevaluating things on like more speculative risky aspects of the crypto space. But I do want to get your thoughts on a couple of things, guys. One, in terms of self managed IRAs, do you guys have any recommendations for those? Anything that you guys have been using, hopefully. And then the second thing is on another space, the discussion of certain like areas that like maybe a level of centralization needs to be there. Well, we discussed like for example, I think like Twitter was brought up where like a platform like Twitter requires some level of centralization, and I think like internet was another. But what are you guys' thoughts on like a crypto that is essentially like is a means for a private company to like distribute out like a VPN type of technology to make it just a very secure platform. It's really a DPN, decentralized private network, because that's one of the things that one of the quote unquote shit coins that I've kind of invested in. It's called Deeper Network, where their goal is really to like have millions of decentralized private networks nodes around the world, and they just launched recently, and yes. It seems like the technology is really far superior from like a lot of VPN technology out there. Like people from Palo Alto Networks are on the founding team. I think like the head of AI from Amazon or AWS is on the team. So it's like the technology is pretty cool stuff. You get that for free. A free DPN for life is like how they get people in, and you get a mine through this DPN. And in return, like you're creating the decentralized private network through this VPN that they provided you with. So it has like a level of like tokenization that, we've discussed how like that's generally not a good move, but in return, like it's only like usable on the platform. My understanding is, but like people in the future will be able to like purchase like IT, like like security type of systems with it. So what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Bueller.
Clearly, no one gives a fuck. I didn't even listen to what the question was, to be honest. I just jumped in while you were talking.
I think everyone burnt themselves out on the last guy. I'm still editing this audio over here, so.
Hey, can we get John back in here? What the fuck?
Yeah, John,
Hey,
you
Dennis,
shouldn't have kicked him off. See, this is what happens when you
Dennis?
kick the excitement out.
How's your father, by the way?
Who, me? Oh, yeah. So he took ivermectin. He feels a lot better.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
Hey, am I in?
What's up, dude? Yeah, you DM'd me. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it wasn't a waste of time. I caught the tail end of the Mark Cuban discussion, so I was late to the party. And at that point, I approached it kind of from the same angle as the guy that you spent the last hour talking to. But I listened, and I'm in the field. I'm retired, Bell Labs, but I listened to you guys instead, and you opened my mind to take another look at how I'm viewing crypto. I mean, I do have Bitcoin as my largest crypto asset, if you will, followed by Ethereum, and then what you calling shit coins, and it wasn't time wasted. Some of us, listened and learned, and we'll do some homework.
Hey, I've got a question for you. Why haven't you sort of grouped Ethereum in that? I was finding it very interesting when you said Bitcoin followed by Ethereum followed by shitcoins. Like, why haven't you grouped Ethereum into the shitcoins? Because we tend to do
I
that.
understand that the points that were being made, technical points, would apply equally. I get that. I guess not because of in the general public, if you will, and if the CNBCs of the world, etc. You got some smart money people, not technical people, that treat Ethereum maybe on a level
like it's a respectable
Bitcoin.
project. Yeah,
but
I get
technically,
you.
I
This is why.
understand. I understand.
This is why I was saying to the whole toxic asshole gang like 4 weeks ago that this strategy is no longer going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Because as more people as technical people come in, it makes sense to be an asshole because they get it quickly. But when you're dealing with people with at least, let's say, $500,000-600,000 up of net worth, they're going to be listening to quote unquote advisors that look smarter than you, sitting on Twitter typing behind a keyboard. And so when they say Ethereum has a viable project, you need to dismantle that argument rather than just calling them a prick. And again, as I said on Dennis's podcast, my episode of that, like, somebody with a $10 million net worth is going to diversify. Our job, if you want to take that job, is to help them understand why they should diversify more into Bitcoin and Bitcoin related projects, like potentially Bitcoin mining stocks and things like that, rather than putting all of their money into Bitcoin. Because let me tell you the one thing that's true: it's just not going to happen. It makes complete logical sense for it to happen, but Bitcoiners tend to not make the bridge between the logical and the illogical emotional side of having money.
No, I mean, there are plenty of, I disagree. There are plenty of guys with plenty of money that don't feel any desire to buy anything but with Bitcoin. Michael Saylor is the most obvious example. But I mean, there are a lot of guys
Michael
I've met.
Saylor has a yacht.
There are a lot of guys
Michael
I've
Saylor
met
has a house.
who.
Michael Saylor has a company. Michael Saylor has diversification. So don't bullshit
No, I
me.
mean
Come on, Jason.
diversifying in the crypto market.
Michael Saylor has art. Yeah. Crypto market, I get you, right? I get you. But these people are programmed to diversify. So they're going to go through a journey of, being told, okay, cool. So you're going to now build a crypto portfolio like you're building a stock portfolio. So I have to diversify. They need to be educated, not just told you're a prick, because anyone who's worth more than $10 million being told they're a prick by somebody who's worth 50 grand on Twitter is just going to reject that and call that person an asshole. They're not going to even hear the information.
Well, I think the key, at least the key for me, because when I approached this, I came with the same belief that that the general public has, that Ethereum and the altcoins, there's value in the utility, and it's like digital cameras and photography, buried Polaroids and rolls of film and all that stuff. So
it's a seductive lie.
Is it really true that the altcoins and Ethereum networks are going to be the utility networks that are going to facilitate for less money the money transfers or the asset transfers and all that stuff? But your valid point is, but does having the token give you a piece of that pie? And that's sort of the missing. It's who's going to monetize that, and how's that structure of who's going to own the assets.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, my friend. Like, if people continue to reference things in US dollars, but use the Ethereum network, for example, to create utility out of those things, like whether we like it or not, and I also think it's shit. It's still gonna grow. Now, at some point, you'll be able to do that on Bitcoin,
right?
And that will be hopefully the death of some of these networks. And nothing makes sense to do it on there. Please don't take me as saying it makes sense to do it on there, because it doesn't. It's stupid. Just understanding gas fees makes you want to vomit, right?
The message that the general public is getting, though, and I consider,
I get you.
I'm the technical guy, but I'm
education.
the general public now, right? And what I'm being bombarded with on the general public is that Bitcoin's running out of steam, and that's why these other things, because they can do thousands of transactions per second or better. And so that's the story the general public is getting.
Yeah, guys, who was actually there on the debate? I wasn't, because I think sleep is more valuable than trying to debate between non-Bitcoin believers and Bitcoin toxics. Did he actually say that people buy Doge because it's fun? Is that what? Because I'm seeing that on tweets. Did
he actually did. Oh no, and Dennis is going to prove it too. Dennis, one thing I want to tell you is when you do upload that, maybe have an audio guy kind of clean it up a little bit. That'd be a great selling point of it. If you because he cares about the little people, Mark, but he doesn't care enough to get off of his stair stepper, so his mic doesn't get all rattled and fucked up, right?
Bro, I don't know if I can fucking fix that audio in time to get it out. Honestly,
but here's
just post it. Maybe later on or something.
The point I was trying to make is that he's right. He is right. It makes no fucking sense to us as Bitcoiners, but he is right. People will blow $1,000 on Doge before they put it into Bitcoin because it's fun to them, right? It's a stupid world that we live in. The fiat conditioning that's been had is so stupid. But that will happen. People will put $1,000. So how do you counteract that argument?
I don't anymore. I learned this year actually, and it was because of my hairdresser and her husband. She was telling me about her husband who used to like Bitcoin, but now he likes Doge, or did like Doge, and how he put $50 into Doge because of Elon, and how he only made $1,000, and how he was so disappointed in Elon because he thought he was going to make so much more. And I'm just like, the guy made 20x and was sad because I guess he thought he was going to be a millionaire now because of Elon, right? And I don't care if the guy buys Bitcoin. This guy is worthless to me. I'm sorry, but I mean, like, as far as I don't care if the guy buys Bitcoin. I don't care if any of those guys buy Bitcoin. They're not trying to actually invest in something real. They're looking for Ponzi's. They're looking for